The year is 1998. Vibe publishes an article titled Racer X that sweeps director Rob Cohen off his comfy couch and into the fast-paced world of street racing. Having a deep urge to bring this to the big screen, Cohen shares the article with producer Neil Mortiz, who then commissions Gary Scott Thompson and Eric Bergquist to develop a script under the title Redline, with David Ayer coming in to tune up the story. Having multiple actors turn down the starring roles, they cast two relatively unknown actors, and Universal cautiously greenlights this film, and production fuels up for a June 2001 wide release. We hit the NOS and jump to 2022, where the franchise has gone on to gross over $6 billion and has spawned multiple video games, theme park attractions, 2 spin-offs, and is entering its last quarter mile as its 2-film finale is already in production. That's right, the morons are talking Fast and Furious. We're two unqualified morons playing tabletop. This is the Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm RP.
And this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Gateway Gamers Blockbuster Summer. We're here talking Fast and Furious. We're talking Fast, Furious, Family,
Tokyo,
Friends, Tokyo Drift, Furious 6, Furious 7,
F9,
not Hobbs and Shaw,
Space.
So, Brian is very unfamiliar with the franchise.
So I'm here. I haven't watched any of them. I've been watching clips that you've been putting on TV to be like, hey, check this out. And it's obviously I would love it, but I haven't watched a single one, like I promised.
It is which is unusual, but I'm trying my best to show you it. So I decided that to get this done, I need family to come to town this weekend. So I'm bringing in 2 Fast and Furious experts.
Super fans.
Super fans, yes. And I thought I was a fan of the franchise, but 2 super fans. Welcome, my dear friends, Rishabh and Bailey. Welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
What a heavy title to put on us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are the experts.
At this table, we are probably the most passionate.
I think in the world. I think more than Vin Diesel.
Vin called you guys up. He's like, we're getting ready to do it again. Should we do 2 movies or 3? You guys are like, 2.
He pulled up to our house in his Mustang.
Nah, Charger.
Oh, wait.
You can swear.
Okay, sorry.
You can swear.
I don't know anything about cars. I just know about the movies.
Yeah,
I also don't know much about cars.
Neither do I.
I believe what I see on the screen.
I had an old boss who drove a Porsche, and he was like talking to me, and I was just like, I don't know anything about cars. I know that I like the Nissan Skyline, which is Paul Walker's car.
That's
my favorite car, Brian O'Connor. That's all I really know. And I know Nas makes you go fast. So
yes, that's all you need to know. Really.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And one thing to know about this franchise, it did start out small. Like I said, it was based on an article that 2 unknowns, and it's ballooned into this global franchise. Universal's first franchise to make $1 billion. Has gone on to spawn, 9 movies and a spinoff and a terrible theme park attraction that is just god awful. That I think am I the only one that's run it?
Yeah, I haven't been on
I
it.
watched the ride through video, which I mean, if you could think of an even worse experience,
it does justice. That's all I'll say.
There was 2 of them, right? Because one was like the backlot tour, and then there's the other one with the screens and
So Universal Hollywood's the backlot, and then they kind of just adapted that with what they had into like a CGI cluster fest in Orlando.
Is it like the Back to the Future ride where you're in something?
No, you're in it's like the Kong ride. If you've ever seen a ride,
the new one or the old one?
The new one, where you're in essentially a bus. And you go through like
it's
screens.
Just like
you're not even in a car.
Right?
You're in a bus.
You're watching cars happen around you on a screen.
Yeah, there's like a helicopter that like zooms
so
in.
You would,
it would be like a roller coaster.
You would think a roller coaster, test track, something like that.
Yeah.
No.
So they just drive around.
And so now the new Universal theme parks is just like, that's our biggest mistake. He's like, that is the biggest regret that we have done.
Yeah. We've talked many times about what we would like to see.
So does Vin Diesel pull up? He's like, oh, yo. And you're just in a bus. And like, all right, bye.
I think the backlot was probably a better, because you at least got to see cars do something.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was like a stunt show?
Yeah, it had like that stunt car on like the arm that would like flip towards you.
Even
and then the cars danced to Gasolina. That's all great.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Even like something like... lights, camera, action. You remember that at Hollywood Studios,
Yes.
the backlot? Even something like that,
Yeah.
but no.
I mean, anything than what they have.
They have the most ridiculous franchise in the world, and this is
And they have you riding on a bus.
you have a bus and it's just like slow, nothing's fast, like
And everything's just driving
Well,
around you.
I will remind Brian, it's not the car, it's the driver.
that's
Yeah.
true.
And the driver.
But is
of
the bus
ride
driver
is-
awesome? Like, what
No.
No, this is a line from the movie. It's not the car.
I know, but
the
I'm just
driver
saying,
makes the
like-
car.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you have neither. You have neither a car or a driver that you can believe in.
This is why it's a terrible ride.
I'm dumbfounded. I thought at least a roller coaster.
No.
Or
So I
something.
hope if you are a fan of the franchise, that wasn't your introduction to Fast and Furious, was through Universal Orlando.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. So anyway, how are you guys?
Good.
So what was your introduction? Because Rishabh, you introduced them to Bailey. So what was your introduction to Fast and Furious?
So I watched a couple as a child, fell off of it, and then one day she wanted to go see a movie, just literally any movie, and that was the movie on screen at the time. So I made sure I watched all of them ahead of time. It was Fury 7. So I watched 6 of them because I am a franchise buff and a completionist, right? So
That's like going to see the new Mission Impossible and not
Yeah.
seeing anything.
and I re-fell in love with the franchise, and then we watched Fury 7. She watched it, zero context.
Yeah, I can't even remember if I liked it or not. I think I was just chilling, like happy to be in the theater, just doing anything.
As we all are. We're
Yeah,
always
yeah,
happy to be in the
yeah.
theater.
But then when we moved in together, I made her watch all of them except for number 4. I allowed her to skip that one.
Well, we
What?
started it. I never finished it, so I am not.
Oh.
I haven't. I guess I technically haven't even seen all of them. 'Cause
Wait,
4
you've
is-
never seen 4?
I
they were
started it.
Me too. They're in their own way.
I can't even remember what was so terrible about it, but it was just like it didn't even feel like a movie. It was so bad.
Is it bad?
No, I liked that one.
I think 4 is the worst one.
So this, I should have prefaced. We have wildly different takes on this franchise.
Well, we'll have to break down our. It's hard
Our
to do the
rankings.
ranking.
Oh, I know. So that was you kind of just wanted to go to the movie. So you didn't even see, like, you didn't grow up watching them or anything.
No, I watched a couple when I was younger. I think I only watched Too Fast, Too Furious. Again, no context, but I was like 10 or whatever.
Great movie.
And
Kind of a strange one to start with.
well, it was just me and my friend, and we weren't really big franchise heads at the time.
Right.
The whole continuity didn't really exist back then.
And it didn't exist in that franchise either.
Yeah. And then when we watched Fury 7, I made sure to watch all of them.
Go back.
Yeah.
So I talked a little bit about it in our episode. My introduction was I grew up watching the first 2. My uncle liked the first one. So that's how I kind of saw. That's how I saw a lot of things when I was younger. And I think I saw Too Fast, Too Furious on my own from Blockbuster. I remember running Too Fast, Too Furious, and to me at the time that was the funniest movie I'd ever seen. Like, that movie was really, really funny. It kept. I mean, at the time, it's whatever now. Like, it still makes me laugh. And then I was completely turned off by the franchise with Tokyo Drift. I hated it. And the best part was the end when Vin Diesel showed up, and I was like, oh my God. So then 3 years later, they announced Fast and Furious, the reboot. Obviously, for those who don't know, Vin Diesel agreed to come back to do Fast and Furious so that he could have 2 of his passion projects, which was Riddick again, and then The Last Witch Hunter, which was essentially his Dungeons and Dragons character coming to life. I know some of our listeners probably have played, and Vin Diesel is a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan, which I thought was cool. Like, with his birthday a couple of years ago, he had a D&D cake. Those movies are awful.
I love Riddick. I know it's not.
I've never seen Riddick.
I like Pitch Black, and I really enjoyed Riddick.
The reputation of Riddick is not good.
It's not a good movie. It's probably like these movies.
However,
they're probably not good.
He didn't want to come back, and now it's like his goddamn baby. So that's what happened to get him back for 4. And I remember, and I said this, again, I'm repeating myself, but I said this in the episode. I was like, I think it was in 8th grade, and I was like, guys, we got to go to the theater. They're back. Everybody's back. Paul Walker's back. Dominic Toretto, everybody. I was so hyped. And so we went opening day. And then same thing when Fast 5 was announced. I was like, it's the Avengers. Like, they're all coming from the first 3 movies, or not Tokyo Drift, but the other ones.
Han is in it.
Oh, that's right.
Solo.
Han, the best Han Solo, yes, which apparently Rishabh has informed us it was just kind of like a fake identity, right?
Yes.
Han is one of the coolest characters. That's what I loved about Tokyo Drift. And then I've kind of just been a fan ever since. And it's weird because I only like him in these movies, but when Paul Walker died, I was deeply affected. Like, I was like, this is fucked up. Like, I was, and I've never really been that. Robin Williams, I think, would have been the only other actor who died that I was kind of like messed up about. And I was just like, he's got a kid. Like, he died in a car. Like, this is weird parallel.
Yeah, I think it was just, that he died in something that the movie is so much about, and like something the movie like
celebrates.
Yeah,
and he like openly said, like, if I die in a car, like I'll be happy. Like there's like some sort of quote.
Yeah, but I mean the movies we were just watching, Fast 9, F9.
F9, the Fast Saga.
Yes.
Yes.
These are we'll get to that. These outrageous titles.
It's something they're like still dealing with. Like his like presence looms really large in those movies.
And I mean, the end of 9, is that 8 or 9 when his car pulls up?
That's 9.
That's
9.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps talking about it.
I cried at 11 a.m. this morning when we were watching it.
I don't typically cry or tear up in movies, but that gets me every time.
How have they written off his character?
He is alive.
He just
but
has a
not
family.
Off screen.
Yes.
You know that song that you're singing?
Yeah, I was singing earlier.
So that's how they kind of segue. They had another kid, and like he's
his presence is still there. You said
he's just like they're always just like Brian's at home with Mia, like he's got to. But then Mia comes and like.
I was gonna say.
Mia's like I still want to be in the movie.
Yeah. She's like, hey, I need an income.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think like that's really the best way you can do it. Like I don't really want them to like deep fake him or have his brother play him, which we thought
they did in 7, and we thought
I think they
9.
did to finish it right because he had started that one.
He filmed about like 30% or something, so there was a big chunk that he had to finish. However, it looked pretty good. Like there's some scenes
but
where you're like,
oh,
that's on him.
A new movie where he hadn't had any involvement prior.
Yeah.
I think like what they did with 9 was probably
It was
like,
very
the best,
tasteful, right? Like it was.
Done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
even mentioned him or
no. That's you got it. He's one of the hearts of the franchise, and I think it's a nice way to keep his memory alive too. But I wouldn't have put it past them for them to deep fake him.
Well,
we were worried about that the whole time when we were watching it in theaters for the first time.
I feel like the last movie they probably will have him in a scene. Like
I know, I really don't.
I just want to show the back of his head. Show the
that
back
would
of his
be
head.
maybe.
Well, this one, right? They just say, "Hey, we can't start dinner yet. There's one empty chair," and then you just see his car pull up. But everyone knows his car. Everyone.
I don't know why I'm getting goosebumps. Like I legitimately am getting like it's a freaking Avengers movie.
It feels like his relationship with Vin Diesel was so close.
Yeah.
And it feels like to Vin like he lives on in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you feel like how emotional that would be for him
absolutely.
to make
The
it.
fact
like,
that
Vin named his kid after
Paulina. The fact that they finished the movie is kind of just like the 7th, and then they went on and made 2 more, and they respected to not they respected him nicely and his family.
That could have easily killed the franchise.
Or
a major actor dying that way.
They could have did what they like. So the show I like, Peaky Blinders, Molly, whatever her name, I forget. She plays a character on the show, and she was Narcissia Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies. The mom, she died. And they killed her in the show, but it made her loom kind of all season. And they could have gone that route. They could have easily had him die in an explosion. Mm-hmm. I like that they didn't. Right. I respect that. That is, that's Justin Lin, right? Because Justin Lin came in at Tokyo Drift, and he directed.
So he did 4, 5, and 6, but not 7 in it.
James Wan did 7. F. Gary Gregg did 8, and then Justin Lin came back for 9,
and then left
2 weeks before filming on 10 because Vin Diesel was unbearable to work with. Apparently, showing up out of shape. Brian has been calling out the Dom's got a gut. This is 6. We got 6 on in the background.
I'm just like watching the movie as it's going. It's wild, but like Vin Diesel isn't like in shape, like especially like The Rock standing next to him. You're like these two are supposed to be on par with each other. Like,
but I think it's kind of like an interesting study, right? Because when it comes to their performance, I feel like Vin Diesel treats this stuff so much more seriously, right? Like this is his entire.
This is his Macbeth. Like this
right,
is
the utmost gravity, right? And then The Rock is smiling and winking at the camera, right? Because he's like, "Look, I'm playing this character, but it's still me, The Rock."
But why doesn't Vin Diesel? act that way in real life. Like, why
Well,
is
and
he
that's,
kind of?
that's what's wild
Why
is
is he a
like
problem? Apparently,
I don't know.
It's a temperamental art. He's got the pure artist sentiment.
it's
you
not
know?
even like he's in character because Dom seems
Yeah,
like
no,
he's not like
Dom's
a character actor.
So the crazy part about it is that he wanted nothing to do with it, and now he's just like, if they do
Right.
something without him, that's what
Yeah,
that's.
he's taken ownership of these movies in a way
Meanwhile-
that I do
I'm
enjoy.
okay-
but
I'm
like
okay
the
with it.
temperamental behind the scenes stuff, I'm just like.
But that's what's wild to me is like he treats the character so serious when the camera's rolling. But before that, there's stories
It's
about
always
him.
Instagram stories. Look at this. Look at this brother come back. Like,
yeah.
But you have one, Dwayne the Rock Johnson who doesn't is he
He's
according
a
to
consummate professional.
right like
Yeah.
showing up on time, staying in shape. That kind of thing.
I want The Rock is, and maybe that's also why The Rock kind of wanted out. He knew that this guy's being seen as the face of the franchise,
Right.
and he's not doing half the work that everybody else is.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Yeah.
that's the famous feud currently because this is probably my favorite Rock role. Like I didn't love the Jungle Cruise.
I mean, it's his most sustained one. He's never really done like a long character like this.
Fucking Tooth Fairy. What
Oh,
are you talking about?
I like the
Or
game-
for Bailey, the skyscraper.
Skyscraper's good.
He has
I like
one
when
leg. He's doing work in that movie.
He's like
I love The Rock.
he's a big Rock guy.
Because I love Schwarzenegger, and that's what he is.
I kind of
dumb
just saying
movie.
I'm getting over. Like I'm kind of getting like.
I know. I used to be big Rock stan.
So have I.
But I've kind of fallen off on
Like I
him.
don't give a shit about Black
I think
Adam.
it was when he started like.
I care about the. I know. I'm so sorry, Brian.
I would cast The Rock in everything.
I care about. I know if you've listened to the podcast,
Yes.
anytime there's an opportunity to cast The Rock is in the film. I don't care about Black Adam. I care about everybody else in that
Yeah,
movie.
DJ, if you're listening,
Yeah,
I got you.
Sorry. I don't know if you cast The Rock to get The Rock, but like with Jungle Cruise, I'm just going to reference that film. You need a character actor. You need somebody to take that to the next level. It's not. He's supposed to be a conquistador, and he sounds like he just got done at WrestleMania. Like it just.
He's
it's
not interested in like pushing characters.
Well, now I
he
think
just
to
will
prepare
be
for-
himself. in
But
every
also,
movie.
to be fair, that's what you pay for. Like that's what people want
Yeah,
to see.
To be fair, he's not like a great actor. And like you get what you get.
Yeah.
Like he's not gonna be in like a romance comedy. Like
Right,
you
yeah.
hire this giant guy to be a fucking giant
Yeah.
guy.
But I feel like
that's
there
it.
are like shades of he could be playing in the space a little bit more. Rishabh has an amazing.
Let's hear it.
Or
No,
I
I was
can
just
tell it.
going
if
to
you-
say, you tell it. I'm laughing too much.
So there was an interview with The Rock. I think it was when he was at Disney. They were doing like interview stuff in front of the Jungle Cruise, and then like when the boats would go by, people would like lose their minds.
Yeah.
And he was
I
like,
remember that.
and he was like, well,
to be fair, I would too. I would lose my mind.
yeah. I mean, it truly like there's something when you're that level of celebrity, like it seems like a part of your brain dies or something.
Yeah.
And like I guess that would happen to me too, because these people at one point he just points and he's like, oh, that woman's crying. Like this woman was just like losing. But he tells this interviewer, he's like, well, I've actually piloted like many Jungle Cruise rides throughout the world. And the interviewer's like, oh, okay. And he's like, now you may think like, why haven't I heard about that? I haven't seen any press about it. It's because I did it in my mind.
Oh no!
But that helped him prepare for the role.
Oh no!
But I get that because when we meet people,
He was a
and they
virtual
recognize
skipper.
us.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, true.
They're
We're out-
crying.
Yeah.
Or just say,
You're like, oh, I'm a god to these
Yeah,
people.
be like,
It
I
makes
played
sense,
I
right?
played games with this guy in my mind. Yeah, see, I get it. The Rock is just like us.
I like The Rock. I think
The
he's
Rock
the
and Vin
most.
Diesel are crazy
Dwayne.
in
All right,
different
let's.
ways.
Dwayne Johnson. He's just like us, He's just a
I
human being.
think Dwayne. I think he is probably one of the more down to earth celebrities, like on the massive scale. He just seems like he's always pushing his product, but he's never in the news for something bad. He's always
he
nice
does
to
keep
fans.
It clean.
However, he's like, fuck off, Vin Diesel. We're done. And Vin Diesel made that kind of embarrassingly public.
I wonder if
appeal.
that was like a press thing. I don't know.
Well, didn't he try to call out The Rock first? Like, didn't
He was pissed that they wanted
Yeah.
to do a sequel.
my boy
without him.
Dwayne didn't say anything until Vin
that's
Diesel
because-
called him out, right?
Didn't The Rock be like, they don't.
Because he's corporate. He's got it all tied down. Like, he's like squeaky clean.
But I
And
feel-
Vin is messy.
Vin is a little
Because you can't
messy.
contain him.
But
He
he's also a
just,
multimillionaire for saying I
he
am
did
Groot.
he and every movie he
Yeah, he
says
gets paid.
I am Groot
In all languages.
Yeah.
all languages.
Because he
Baby
believes
Groot's
in
him.
his art. And it
does.
makes him kind of weird, but that's
Well,
fine.
he
He
Groot.
recorded every single one of those lines. It wasn't just they used
So-
the same line.
So James Gunn gives him a script of like what
The English translation
for
of what
for,
he'd be saying.
for you
yeah.
listeners who don't know, Vin Diesel plays Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. he gives him like a script of what it would say, and so he can give the emotion into I am Groot. But yeah, he just keeps saying the lines over and over and gets paid millions of dollars. But he is known to kind of leak stuff of the plot for that movie. You're right, he's messy.
Yeah.
But I guess he keeps the family together, and he's the head of
what
this
his career will be after.
Because he's like...
what has he been in besides this kind of...
Nothing that's been successful besides Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I mean, he was rumored to play Black Bolt for a little bit, which I think he has a good build and face for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell he would do. He
could. He'll do something.
The pacifier, I thoroughly enjoyed the pacifier.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I think it would be interesting to see him like kind of branch out into like different, maybe like comedic. I don't know if he could handle a rom-com.
Do you
that would
see
be a
him?
lot
I was
for
about to
him,
say, I love you.
You're right. Like, and we talked a little bit about his dramatic acting in 9. 9, there is like he was really good in 9, and I was surprised because I think he's probably the worst actor out of them all. Even Ludacris, I think, is a better actor than him. But I just love him in this role. Like, he's just. Yeah. It's like Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, a wildly different class of talent, but like he's just.
The character has become him.
Exactly, and one is they're not different; they are the same. So I guess let's kind of get into it a little bit. This franchise has made over $6 billion, which is ridiculous, and it was Universal's first $1 billion film. With Furious 7's would put it over, and I think a lot of Paul Walker's death, people wanting to see that, people thought it was the last one. Those silly geese. So you guys love Tokyo Drift.
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
So I think the first thing people think of when they think of Tokyo Drift and why they hate it is because it follows Sean and not Paul and Dom. But if you ignore the protagonist and all of the main characters, Han steals the show, and Takashi
DK,
just absolutely spectacular performance. They look great. They're very fun to watch, right? So it's really the villain and the wise mentor figure that I think steal the show.
Han.
Yeah.
I would agree. So I rewatched it last night and this morning, and even Audrey was like, "This dialogue is awful." And I will say that the time we spend with the actual racing, because this franchise has just blown away from that, even to a point where we were watching earlier, and Brian goes, "They did a cut scene and he just won the race." Yeah. Like, it's when they need more cars in Brazil in Fast 5, and he's just like, didn't even show up. I'm like, yep, they don't got time for that.
Any other movie, it would be a car action scene. This movie, they're like, nah, we're good. He won.
Even the first one. But this one, they're 75% of the movie is spent with them in cars and drifting, and I like that. I think Justin Lin's direction is incredible, and then Han, I'm blanking on the actor's name. Can is his last?
Sung Kang. I don't know. I don't want to be responsible.
Awesome, one of the most charismatic characters in the franchise. But the dialogue is just brutal.
So I think part of it for me is having watching it now and not watching it when it came out. It starts to become like camp.
Yeah.
To me, because it has this like very like early 2000s aesthetic, and like the dialogue feels like that. But I think the like cinematic direction of it is one of the first ones where it starts to feel like a Fast and Furious movie. Like, it has this very like flashy direction, like everything with the drifting and stuff. The like garages that they hang out in feel like very cool. Han is hot. Takashi is hot. It's like the hottest movie for boys. If you're looking for hot boys, this is the movie to go to.
So this might be right up your alley.
Yeah, start on that one.
Again, you have to, I mean, nothing but respect to the actor who plays Sean, but
he's terrible.
Ignore him.
His accent is brutal too, but it's just like that stereotypical fish out of water film.
Yes.
There's nothing, I don't think there's any, other than the fact that they can drift really, really well, there's nothing unique about this film. It is very much a 2000s film. I mean, just as is the first and second one are too.
But let's not sleep on the song either.
Oh, Teriyaki Boys.
Yes.
Amazing.
Before the rap verse breaks down, the rap verse pretty bad. Before that, really good.
Oh, yeah, I love it all. Audrey was like, wait, you know this song? I was like, yeah, I like that. I genuinely like this song.
We're trying to put
we
it
walked
in
down
our
the aisle
wedding
to
mix.
the song. You don't remember?
But like the cars are awesome. I like that they blend the cultures together with the American muscle car made with a Nissan engine, And this movie, like you said, is really about racing.
Yes.
And it's about the relationships. However, the story is just very generic. Bad boy needs to go to Japan because that's where his dad lives, who clearly doesn't give a fuck about him. And then it ends there. He
like stick it. Like
Yeah.
he gets in
Yeah.
trouble.
He gets in trouble.
So they're like, you can go to jail or you can go to Japan with your
it's-
alcoholic father.
What I hate, they have the football players in football uniforms. They have race for me. You even the girl's like, you don't even love me if you don't win. It's like, well, why are you racing for your date? Like, you have rights. Like, you are a human being. Like, I just
Rights for Sean.
and I guess a lot of it is true. I love Brian O'Connor. Like that was my favorite character, and the fact that he was missing.
Yes.
It was like, what are you doing? Because 2 worked. Like I said, I love 2. I thought it was funny. Even Mendez, super hot. And then the first one, I really still love the first one a lot. My favorite is Fast 5 because that's when the franchise finds itself.
Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely mine too.
And it just takes such a wildly different direction. They test it. They dip their toes in like 4 when like they drive through the mountain and like they perfectly hit the fake rock or whatever that they just crashed through. And like, I feel like that kind of like started too. And Gal Gadot is in it and everything.
And Han was in that opening scene.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's in the beginning, and then they just said, you know what? This timeline doesn't work. I know 3 came out, then 4, 5. But we're gonna kill Han in the end of 6, which we just watched that end credit scene. That again, watching Tokyo Drift today, that scene makes no sense. How do you? Because that scene erupts when DK comes looking for Han, and then like unbeknownst, so Jason Statham had to be following them from the very beginning. It's bananas.
I mean, it's a lot like when they introduced John Cena.
Yeah.
It's like we just never talked about.
The funniest thing about that is, 1, you're correct. Why was another Toretto brother never talked about? 2, why is he a fully grown male in the flashback? Like he's over 18 and like 5'2", and then he comes back and he's taller than Dominic Toretto. And Dom should have been Dom because that was like the time and place of the first film.
Yeah, I guess there's not that. Well, so it
And like,
said
I understand, but
when his dad dies, it's like 89. Is that what the
89, I
flashback?
think. And
So
we don't know how long.
it's
There
supposed
has-
to be like 10 years later.
Yeah, so
in
there
the
has
first
been like
one.
a 10-year difference. I actually really like the young actors in that.
I do too.
I
I
think
think
they
that
both
was a
did a
setup
great
for
job.
like a baby Fast and Furious
I want a
franchise.
baby
Which
Fast
we
and
talked
Furious so
about
bad.
earlier. He's like, because this franchise isn't
Yeah.
dead. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I guess they'll do a prequel, but I'm like, that's the first movie. Because the first movie, they're babies.
Yeah, they have to go back even further, even babier.
Like
he is like 11.
Big wheels, just
Yeah.
drifting on big wheels. Quick question: why did they go Tokyo Drift? Did none of the actors want to do it, or were they just trying something different?
I don't
I don't think
know.
they even knew it was a franchise.
I think in
yet.
terms of car culture, that was probably like the next
The
step,
hot
right?
time,
Because the first one kind of explores. I mean, they're driving like Honda Civics or whatever, but Dominic's whole deal is he's very into muscle cars, right? 2, they kind of have like it takes place in like Miami and whatnot, right?
Actually, that's a really good point. Culturally, too, they bring in an African American, and they actually have an African American direct the film as well, and they do appeal. It's one character, but they do head south as well to like the Latino culture or Latinx culture of racing because it's in South Beach.
So
That's actually as being
I
a great
think-
question. That's a great point.
I
So
never
were they
thought of
just
that.
they were just trying to collect everybody? Like they're
So
like, all right,
I
let's
think
go east. And...
At that point, I think they thought that people were coming to the movies for the driving,
Like,
and,
yeah, for the
and not
cars.
for like the So I don't know if you ever watched, the Halloween movies, like
Yeah.
the Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So for a while, it seemed like they thought what people were coming for were movies that happened during Halloween.
Yeah, so
because-
Season of the Witch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they were finally like, oh wait, no, it's the characters that people like.
Which, I mean, to be fair, the first movie was built out of that underground racing
Like
world.
an LA style, street
Well, Halloween?
racing.
No, yes. Michael
Oh my God, I
Myers.
would love to see Michael drift.
Well, the reason why Michael wears a mask is because he was in a bad car accident and his face is all burned.
The
I
Mario
missed that
Kart
part.
version of all the
Yeah.
Halloween monsters: Michael Myers, Jason,
I
Freddy
need
Krueger.
it. I need it. But yeah, so that's actually a really good point. And the first 3, it's essentially a trilogy. They all have the same. Justin Lin does come in and I think take it up a notch. Some of the stuff in Too Fast, Too Furious looks kind of shitty, and I thought that this film looked really good. I think it was, like I said, directed really well, and even the blues, like the green screen when they're in the car. I noticed this time. I was like, wow, that's actually like really good. Like you can see perfectly with the back. Sometimes they like hide that, but I really, really enjoyed that. And I have a better appreciation for this film. However, still the worst one, in my opinion.
The worst one?
Yep.
Have you watched 4 recently?
I like 4. Okay. I am on the 4.
You liked it. I think you liked 4 because you were like the exact right age.
Nostalgia.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no matter what happens, I will always think The Dark Knight is the best movie that's ever been made because it came out when I was 13.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Whatever you watch when you're like, 11 to like 15, those will be the best movies that you've ever seen.
So it's not my favorite one, but that was my age range. And I haven't watched it fully through. However, I just remember really enjoying it. I was like, this is great. And then that characters in that film carry over 2 more films. And it's just like, I don't know. But the style completely changes. This is where they become straight up action, like movies, heist movies. Because from
the clips I've seen,
they are nonsense. It
gets more nonsense. I would say like 5 is kind of like the perfect mix of the 2. And then after that, it starts to fall into more like cartoon.
5 is a good balance of over-the-top, like incredible action, but still
like
somewhat
grounded.
based in
Well, yes, that's then like we said, that's where they kind of start to dip their toes into what can we get away with, and then it's just like that became the bit. It was like, all right, people are here to see how ridiculous we can get.
Yeah, the clip you showed me, they fell off a cliff like 800 feet.
You remember in Fast 5 when they rob the train and then they go into the... So when I saw that originally, I was like, I didn't think anything of it. Then I watched it at home when it came out and I was like,
they're
probably
dead and/or
die.
paralyzed.
And then we were watching and he's like, well, Paul Walker's character is right next to the car, so that would break the surface tension. But Vin Diesel, he's dead. He's 100% dead. And I was just like...
And then the other clip you showed me was Dom Toretto got shot out of his car across the bridge, grabbed the girl and slammed into a car, and then just got up and was like, oh.
What it's important for you to know is if you're in the family, cars cannot hurt you.
I noticed that because we were watching one part and you guys all went, who's that guy? And I went, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then he got shot and I literally said, no one said family to this guy. So he didn't have the barrier to save them.
So, in this franchise, Dominic Toretto has like Magneto-like powers around cars. He can telekinetically move cars however he wants. But like the important thing is, like Bailey was saying, if you are part of his crew, his family, if you are falling off of a building, as long as you land onto one of his cars, you are safe.
Yeah, he gives you
safe.
he's like an X-Men, like Eunice the Untouchable. He gives you like a barrier that you can't get hurt.
Yeah, right? I think it's Fate or is it Fate the Furious I think it is or maybe it's 7 when the grenade blows up and the rock falls from like 4 stories up onto the ground or onto the top of a car, he's fine.
Well,
there's multiple times
that makes sense. See, that in real life
in the franchise where it's like, oh no, they're gonna fall, they'll hit the ground, they'll die. I'll drive my car underneath them. They hit the car, they're fine. They're not a scratch.
You're talking about like the difference of 4 feet, right?
Yes.
But the 4 feet of landing on the car versus landing on the ground saves that person.
I would fall out of this chair right now and probably break 3 of my ankles.
I would 100%. I'd be taken to the hospital. I'd be bleeding.
But if you were caught in the soft embrace of one of Dominic's
you have it. It's because you haven't been given a Corona Light. That's why. Corona Extra.
I did notice they do drink a lot of Corona. But if Vin Diesel tweeted at me like, "Oh, Brian Marvel's my family," I'm good.
Yeah, walk into a firefight.
Well, that's why Kurt Russell also comes into the franchise as well. So let's just. This star power that they bring in as supporting cast,
and it
not
starts
even
at 5.
made. Well, yeah. 5 is when they bring in The Rock.
Okay.
And
Dwayne
then,
Johnson,
then they bring back Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson from
Stars in Earn, right?
Tyrese is, besides from Han and like Brian, probably my favorite character. Like he's the comic relief. He's always funny, and I enjoy his ridiculousness. And again, these movies appeal to everyone. Like they really do, and that's why. You see a lot of people just connect with them. People enjoy them. They're good family films, even though they're absolutely insane. But it's also that representation. It's like this was probably the first franchise that kind of hit every single ethnicity.
Yeah,
it's very diverse for the time that it came together. Even now,
I'm sure
honestly,
it's wild to think about, right? But Vin Diesel as an auteur moved Hollywood so much further in terms of diversity. By showing how successful these franchise movies could be.
Absolutely. And he's the proponent of bringing people in.
Which one is this?
No, this is 7. But yeah, absolutely. It showed that because that stupid stereotype in Hollywood is just that people, white people, just like Black Panther blew the lid off of that as well.
Yeah.
It's like they did it first.
Bankability of
And everybody in it is great, and then they added the girl from Game of Thrones in
who
7.
plays Ramsey?
And then they added Kurt Russell in 7, and then they were like, hey, he's gonna be big, but not until like 10. So you gotta like stay around. So they just continued that. This Charlize Theron and
I think Jason Momoa is going to be in the next one.
Momoa, he's the bad guy in 10.
Idris Elba
in the spinoff.
Well, that's why I just asked. Like 7, like there was like 30 names that popped up, and I was like, I know all these people.
Well,
this
we were
is
talking about,
this
like,
is still only 7.
the power to get people to come back, right? Because we were watching 9, and there's a shot where it's a reshoot or whatever. Gal Gadot came back for this franchise after being Wonder Woman.
She did.
Do you know that for sure?
I just watched her die.
I'm pretty sure.
So
she's the only one that's like dead.
There's a flashback in 9 that Rishabh thinks is new footage. I am not as sure.
Which scene?
So it's a scene where Han is explaining how he is alive now or whatever, right? And he's talking about like because at the end of 5, he's like, where should we go? And
anywhere.
Yeah, he says anywhere, and then she said, I thought you wanted to go to Tokyo.
They're obviously pushing that off another movie.
We've got time.
We gotta kill him. So, but like we want to use him.
We already decided he was gonna die.
But then she dies in 6 before they decide to go to Tokyo. But then in 9, he's in Tokyo, and they have to establish why.
Yeah,
and
you're right. She might have.
And I think there's a scene where he's talking to her, and she's like, well, why don't we go to Tokyo? Like, why don't we settle down or whatever?
You know
I
what?
just can't believe they paid for it.
There's no way. That's probably a cutscene. There's no way she came back.
Yeah, so unless they had extra footage from another movie.
Because I'm surprised with her popularity. The fact that Han...
I think if they would have gotten her at all, they would have just retconned her back.
So is this where you would add like a note after the fact where you researched it and...
No. No.
That's professional.
That's super professional.
Rishab's just gonna frantically Google while we keep talking.
Yeah,
about
that's fine. That's how we do this.
We've done it.
Yeah,
now,
but now even
not to cut in, Vin Diesel looks great in this movie.
Yeah,
it looks like the gut is kind of gone.
Trimmed down.
Yeah.
there was like a picture of him. I think while they were filming 6 of like him like on a balcony, his belly was just hanging out. You remember that picture?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He didn't look bad,
I think
but
he
he just
should be
looked like a slightly out of shape. Which again, he's how old?
To be fair,
I'm
him.
not. Yeah, I'm not over here.
To be
ripped.
fair, too, like I guess they're back home now, but like when they were on the run, once you got time to hit the gym, and like they this franchise did bring
he's been
everybody
just clambering around on top of cars.
Yeah, he's building a car.
and Letty. But they bring in Kurt Russell, and he's cool, but you still really don't know what he's building towards. And then he likes Belgian, and so he's like not part of the family, so he's vulnerable to death.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, if you deny a Corona.
Oh, he didn't drink a Corona?
Now he's like, I'm a Belgian man.
Oh, no.
So
It's craft beer all the way, so he had to go.
So what element of the is there anything in this franchise that would probably at this point make you tap out? Like you're like, I'm done.
This late in the game, I think I would just because it feels
If
like
they
there's not that much left.
If they say 11, we lied. We're gonna do 12. Would you be like, come on?
I would probably still watch them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
unless
think
they just
you're
got
already
like
this far
wildly
in.
problematic
I think
or
I'm ride or
something.
die.
If Dom dies, are you in?
But everyone else is all around?
But everybody else, because
I still like Tej and Roman.
They literally talk in the 9th one about them being on superheroes.
Unkillable, yeah.
I mean, they introduced superheroes in Hobbs and Shaw. Like Idris Elba is one. And that's just like an ongoing narrative.
God, Iggy Azalea
and Iggy Azalea just walked on, the woman who
So
can't
we were
rap.
talking, there is like another, there's the celebrity element, but then there's also this like music artist, like rapper element.
The music for the movies is good. Like I like 6. I don't really remember the standout song for 7.
But even like in cameos.
They had the,
yes, See You Again. Yeah.
But it's like Ja Rule, Bow Wow.
Yeah,
the guy from Fire.
Yeah. Everyone knows him.
Firefly.
Apparently, he's
Fire
also
Festival.
made music. But Iggy's in this one. Iggy is a strange choice, but
that was an iconic line for me in the first one when he's just driving and he's losing the race and he's like Monet, and like because he loses because she's like, if you win you can have this one, and then she like puts his hand on her boob, and I love the first one.
These movies have gotten less sexual.
They very
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just watching now, and there's just
I am surprised by like how long it stayed Like where the race, whenever the race starts, there's like the girls with like
the
booty
titties
shorts.
are out.
Yeah.
I will say that made me uncomfortable watching Tokyo Drift because they're supposed to be in high school, and I'm like, this is weird. I mean, obviously they're not, but like this is weird. For
Also,
I would
unrelated.
like to see that come back, not the underage thing, but just the girls.
More women.
Yeah.
Unrelated, but I do remember in the first one, and it's very funny to me every single time I see it again. They talk about race wars in the middle of the desert.
In the middle of the desert.
And I feel like nowadays...
Isn't that a real thing? Oh. Over my head. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and they make a big banner.
Yeah, it just says race wars.
It just says race wars, and now it probably means something completely different. But, this is the franchise where people cannot die, so I am back to Gal Gadot. I'm kind of surprised she didn't come back, because they literally killed Han essentially twice.
I think she can come back at any time. It's just a contractual thing.
Well, they do have Brie Larson, so they picked another super-powered woman to come
Wonder
back.
Woman stinks, so why not bring her back?
Wonder Woman 2 is
as
bad.
of now is in limbo.
Death of the Nile flopped. What's she going to do?
I did see. We saw that in theaters, and I was like, I was tricked by Murder on the Orient Express. I was like, this looks great. And I went and saw it, and I was like, this is very mediocre.
That movie was crazy.
And
this isn't a Death on the Nile podcast, but it could
And
be.
I went and saw Death on the Nile, and me and Audrey went, and I was like, why am I back? Why do I want to see more of Hercules Poirot? Why do I want to see more
You wanted to see the mustache origin story.
I did. And
you were like,
we
why
got
does he have it?
Did you know that he's got a scar that is not noticeable at all in the first movie, but that he put a little scar, that's why he has that weird mustache?
Yeah, it's in the books.
Okay, so it's
All
been
right,
there.
it's legit.
It's been there.
No, I have no idea.
Oh my God, you fooled me.
But I do think if Dom died, I think they have created a roster of characters that people care enough about that I think you could carry it on.
Yeah, and
but I don't
bring in more.
Yeah, and I think you would have to like pry this franchise from Vin Diesel's cold dead hands. Like I don't imagine that ever.
Well, what
happening.
if he leaves and then Dwayne comes in?
Like if Paul Walker was still alive, you killed Dom, you still got Paul.
Right. I think Letty could head it possibly.
Especially if it's a revenge thing.
Who's the newest member of the gang?
Ramsey.
Yeah, I guess Ramsey. But
John Cena.
John Cena. Well, yeah, I guess it probably would be him.
Yeah, like you're a villain, then you're a good guy. So it probably would be John Cena at that point.
I think Vin Diesel leaves.
Who did tank their box office in Korea?
Yeah, that was his fault.
But he was just like, I love China. Apparently, like something's wrong or something like that.
Was,
he was happy to be in the nation of Taiwan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they were just like, you have to issue an apology.
And
China's a big, or China, wherever
he issued an apology in impressively
China,
correct Chinese.
Yeah.
I mean, not like to me. If he was just learning that for that, he did a great job.
You know what? He's talented.
I think WWE travels the world that he probably knows at least a little bit of everything. But I say Vin Diesel leaves, Dwayne comes in. Brings Kevin Hart.
Well, we're still in limbo on Hobbs and Shaw.
I would be happy if Hobbs and Shaw just was its own.
Well, it made enough
money. What if they
money.
joined a team?
Well, they were. They left because of Vin Diesel.
Well, I'm saying Vin Diesel leaves the franchise, then you just bring back everybody.
Yeah, and then you just CGI Paul Walker.
No, just move on from him too.
Well, now you got
Vin
his
Diesel
kid.
moves to the ranch with.
You have
Paul
his
Walker
illegitimate kid now, and you.
Yeah, you age him up to 16.
I mean,
they train him.
I guess he and Letty are married, so I was like, can he have a legitimate child? But he can't.
Wasn't there another baby revealed in this one?
I mean, Mia and Brian have kids.
Brian have 2 kids, I think.
Yeah, there's
just the only babies.
It's all family,
around.
baby. It's all family.
Then they come up. They got trained.
I was gonna say you give it a couple more years. Like at what? Like 11? That kid can start driving.
Well, no. So
Baby
what's probably
Brian?
going to happen is they'll probably kill. Like, do you think it in 11, the film's end, is Dominic Toretto standing there in the driveway of their rebuilt home as the franchise comes to a close?
I don't think Vin will want to let.
He's got to
Dom
do the
die unless he dies.
He's got to do
the
hero death.
If he's he's got to protect Letty and
or like Paul Walker's
Brian.
kid gets kidnapped.
Yeah,
and he has.
Well,
to,
they already did the baby napping in.
Oh man,
you gotta watch these
I know.
movies.
I'm writing, but clearly I'm a writer because
I
came up with the idea on the fly.
You're figuring out the ideas they already had. It is impressive.
What if they do like a hacker, like a worldwide hacker system?
They already did.
Oh my god! Are you kidding me?
That's the plot of 7. Oh my god! God's Eye, it's called,
God's
right?
Eye.
That's the one where I saw.
OMAC?
And I was like, this
Is
this
a tipping
doesn't
point.
this doesn't do it for me. And
think
even I
what-
was like, I don't give a shit about 8. And then I was there opening weekend. and
It's
I was
at the
like,
point
it's
now
good.
where it's like I don't really care whatever the MacGuffin is, that like the inciting action. I'm just there to see my friends
Yeah.
talk to each other and drive cars.
and see ridiculous action.
Yeah,
What
like
if
whatever else they have to do.
They steal VCRs.
That's a great plot.
They go back
That's a
even
good
further.
plot.
They go back to
in
what
time. What if
Yeah.
they time travel?
Well,
If
they
the
I think
Transformers and time travel.
I do think there may be some element of time travel coming to this franchise.
They already
So
went to space. Everyone
they've
joked.
gone to space. There's like a really high possibility. People keep rumoring at Universal a Jurassic Park crossover. They're two
Oh.
biggest franchises.
Didn't
Well,
someone
and
from
especially
the
if they have a
franchise say
Transformers Jurassic Park crossover,
That would be
dinosaur cars.
If Transformers came to this franchise, I would lose my shit. I'd be so fucking happy.
It would be.
I don't even like those
That's the
Transformers
next. That's
movies.
the next step.
So, but like, if you want to see this franchise's future, you look to like
past.
all the other stuff that all the other stuff that it mirrors it, right? Like superhero comics are probably one of the few things that are as convoluted and soapy as this, right? Because like secret siblings, every single family has a secret
I
sibling.
know.
Dominic Toretto had John Cena's character Jacob.
Jacob is
That was known.
Dom's brother.
But
Well,
Vanessa
no.
Kirby was a secret sister to
The Shaw
The
family.
Shaw family and Hobbs and Shaw.
and even the older Shaw was a secret
I
brother.
think
right?
the problem is it's the same writer, and that's the problem. He's like, this is great. This works. We're gonna do it. Guess what, guys? Big reveal. There's
Yeah.
another sibling.
how many times have we had secret siblings in like
Well,
comic books, right? Like
You know the
Yeah.
baby
the
when
Summers is, you know,
when he names the baby Brian in the movie. What if the next movie is like he had a twin,
Named Dom.
and we're gonna name that Paul, and then it's just I thought he was gonna name that baby Paul.
But yeah, if
well,
Transformers
he named
come
his
around,
real life child Paulina.
Yeah, you were saying
it
that.
would be so cool. It would.
Transform-
Like,
that's
I
the
wouldn't
next-
even think
I
that's
would-
like jumping a shark. I'd be
This-
like, what a good fucking
There it
idea.
is. We just watched.
Yeah,
he
just-
fell more than 5 floors
With
onto a
another
car
person.
with Chris Hemsworth's wife. This franchise is insane. Transformers
Yeah.
is owned by Universal. That's the next logical
I
step.
think Tej and Ramsey
Or is that a
can get
Fox
together
movie?
and figure out dimensional travel, right? Like
Oh yeah, they're on the verge of
Well,
that
they've already crossed over with the Minions. I don't know if you remember in 9 they like blow up and they look like a minion
Oh,
when they
yeah.
go to space. When they bring back the people from Tokyo Drift,
Yes.
which I did kind of lose
so
my mind at that.
the concept of Minions is confirmed in the fact.
Yes.
We don't know if it's the movie or if it's the actual Minions.
Gru's going to be the bad guy in the
Yeah.
next one. That's confirmed. Furious 11 is Gru versus the gang.
I'm telling you, if it's Transformers, I'm still like reeling.
No, that's
It's
the
like-
next
I mean,
logical
it's a
Dom's
great
car is like driving, and then transforms a robot, grabs Dom, puts it in his chest, and then transforms back into a car.
It's going to be Bumblebee.
I would be so well, and that's a crossover because John Cena was in Bumblebee.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I actually heard Bumblebee
It was
was very
decent.
good.
yeah, I never saw it.
But that would make sense. I mean, Bumblebee is an American muscle car, so it would be Dominic's car. Yep, Toretto. Same person.
Could be any of 3
But
turtles.
could
yeah,
be.
I don't. A Jurassic Park would be too much.
So-
but it would make me laugh. I would still be. I would be like,
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
honestly at this point down for whatever.
If all of a
Some
sudden, like Riddick, like Gru, like they all just come in.
It's going to be like a dimensional movie where you just go to each one of his
Multiverse.
Bloodshot. You're in the Bloodshot universe, which he was apparently
wow,
his next cinematic
yeah,
universe.
what is-
Do you remember that was this movie that came out right
Yes.
before COVID and failed, but not because of COVID. It was just a bad
Yeah.
movie.
We didn't watch it. We
Yeah.
watched like a recap of it.
Yeah,
I
Vin,
have just-
Vin Diesel can't leave this franchise.
I have just no, he can't, and that's why I think he will probably be alive at the end of the when
Yeah.
it's all said and
come
done.
back later.
However,
Yeah,
don't know
he'll
either.
want to keep his hand in the pot for whatever comes next.
oh, he wants to
I
pay
think,
money.
like,
He wants
if-
the money.
Yeah, if it spins off with other characters, he wants to show up, like for 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah,
And they'll want him to.
Yeah.
yeah, they
oh,
will.
yeah.
That's why
Because it'll
that
still
was
make
my
a
favorite part of
bajillion
Tokyo
dollars.
Drift is when he showed up. Again, I don't know what they can do next. I thought they did a nice job in 9. I actually, when we saw it together, and I was like, I was actually a little emotional at some parts. I was like, he was great.
Yeah.
So, kind of before we start to wrap things up and bring things down, what did you guys think of the board game?
So, well, I didn't like that we lost.
Yes,
pretty
it was tough.
badly.
The family never loses. It was just
Yeah, we just
We didn't have a-
we cut the tapes.
it was-
yeah.
We weren't. No one was Dom in our game, so I assume
Yeah.
after we stopped playing, he came in, he fixed everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really liked the gameplay of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt. So I haven't played a lot of like IP board games, and I kind of always
Well,
assumed,
welcome to the Gateway Gamers
I know.
podcast.
But I guess I kind of always assumed they were like reskins of existing games, and this one felt very original.
Yep.
And it felt like, baked into the dynamic of the franchise. There was like fun strategy in it. I think for us, the RNG, like the probability was just like against us.
Yeah,
Random
it
number
was.
generator RNG, for those who don't know.
And also the worst die roller of all time.
wow.
Rishabh.
Yes.
That was just everything did not go in, and nothing went in his favor.
Embarrassing. He had 5 die rolls. He
beat
needed like
the
2.
statistics.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, I get to roll 5 dice." I was like, "Oh, that's a given." He rolled 1 pip. I was like,
Entropy would almost guarantee I would not roll that bad.
And as playing as Han, who's like,
I know.
the coolest guy in the world, you were really beefing it.
Yeah,
pretty hard.
Yeah, you were. Well, that's why he has other people drive for him. He's not. He always kind of defers. He's never at the. He's just kind of there. And you were there. You were cheering the team on. You were teaching us how to
Yeah,
drift.
you were-
loved
my
it.
little tiny bag of
Little tiny
chips.
bags of chips. What would you plus it up? I know you guys mentioned a couple things, and you being huge Fast and Furious fans, we agreed with me being a fan, him not, that it really did ooze theme. That's what we say all the time. It oozed theme. It felt original. It was a little complex, but once you got started going, you're like, wow. And we loved it. We were like, "This is great!" Like
I was shocked.
for $12, I bought this game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got it on sale, and I was like, "This is just not what I expected at all." It could have been so much more dumb, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I will say, for mechanics wise, everything felt pretty natural, right? Like there was some things where I was like, "Ooh, does it do this?" And Brian was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you do."
Yep.
You move the cars back after they get overturned, and then they can
So
hit
cool.
other cars, right? And I was like, "That's exactly what I would want it."
Yeah.
Want
So,
it to do.
what would you guys? Would you suggest anything to plus it up?
I think the only thing I would want, and it's like so small, is just maybe like some more flavor text or like narrative
Okay.
to it.
Like you want to feel like you're in the middle of a Fast and Furious
yeah,
franchise
which it
with
does-
the family.
Yeah, like I
dialogue.
want to like hear from the characters or like feel like you're moving like a narrative forward as you're playing,
Sure.
which I think might be hard to do
yeah.
because it's already pretty complicated.
So
The
what
event cards,
what
I think, could have had.
yeah, it just could have had like a little something for you to read
Like-
that made it feel
Like
like
the stunt
cinematic.
cards kind of did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I thought while playing, and I didn't say this to you, what could have been cool to have like a sound effects app where like when you move,
yeah.
like
Well, that's all it's done.
Yeah,
You
you
had
were
me.
doing it. That's kind of the fun of it. But I did like, Rishabh, when you mentioned about like some lives essentially like in the franchise don't mean shit in this game. Like you can die and it's absolutely fine. But there would have been some sort of advantage to
Oh yeah. My joke mechanic was if you had Dom's cross, like the Toretto family cross necklace, just whichever player was in possession of that was invulnerable for a turn.
it would have been that's exactly what should have happened.
Yeah.
My plus,
I would like for it to be a physical cross that the player can wear.
that should have been the components the way the components worked. I'm surprised
Yeah.
it didn't happen. The one thing I will think I would like to add is an expansion that has The Rock. That would have been that's what was
Oh
missing.
yeah,
Your
it's
boy
actually
Dwayne was
surprising that
missing.
he's
Yeah.
not in it.
Yeah, and
So wait, who are all the characters? Because I don't even know if I
It's
looked.
it's Tej, Brian, Dom, Han, Letty, and
Roman?
Rome.
Okay, so it's pretty much the big. It's just not Giselle, Mia,
Basically,
or
no women.
Ramses.
Yeah, like
I know. I wanted.
Ramsey has like a little token that I think you use in the third phase that we
okay.
didn't
We didn't
we
even
haven't
get
even
there.
played it yet. No, it's too
yeah,
much.
like I think, like if this isn't, they're not making any more. Like
Yeah.
there's no way there's an expansion coming to this game. It,
Oh,
it
no,
kind
not
of
at
came
all.
and went. But yeah, like you could easily expand upon this with like more characters
Mm-hmm.
and more cars, more scenarios. Like you
yeah,
just
we
kinda...
thought too. Like what you said, like a reskin because like we're all big fans, but like no offense to fans out there, this is a dumb franchise. Like it's
Yeah.
stupid and
It doesn't inspire like really ardent.
no,
Fans.
it's
It's not winning
popcorn.
Oscars. It's
Yeah.
It's popcorn, ridiculous action films. To get a game this intricate and detailed was just really impressive.
Yeah.
I was very surprised and
Yeah.
impressed.
And I really liked. We kind of discovered it a little bit later, but the like each character had like a specialized move, and then your car
car
I think
did as
also.
well, yeah.
So you could like combine those in interesting ways.
Which we dropped the ball on that. We forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were like, you could have strategized more in the beginning if you wanted to like kind
Yeah.
of match those together.
But I
Would
just
have been
wanted
interesting.
Han in the car that was stylized to look like his car.
Yeah.
Well, that should be they should give you the best advantage for matching the character to the car, though.
Right. Like, well, and as Han, I had impeccable control, right? So I think all the maneuverability things, which makes
you
sense
never got to use.
I never got to
Kept
use
the
because I
shit
totaled his
beat out of
car
you.
immediately.
His stats could have maxed out. He couldn't roll. Goddamn thing.
So have you guys played anything else Fast and Furious? Any video games? Have you watched the
No.
Netflix
I
cartoon?
haven't. So
That's-
I saw the trailer for a Fast and Furious video game that I thought must have come out in 2005, and it turns out it came out like 2 years ago.
And it came out when the PS5 was out. It was not available on any next-gen consoles. It was specifically
Because I would
PS4.
play it at this point. Like,
Yeah.
what do I have to lose?
It was like
But-
$10 too.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't even know. They just make a rate like
So
like
is it not
those
on
racing
Xbox
games.
One?
It might be.
Which was all Need for Speed. You just
Yeah, like
reskin
exactly.
that.
Just
Yeah.
they used to have. I'm pretty sure they had a Fast and Furious like Midnight Club style game, but they never really took that to the next level. At least I don't think so.
I mean, it just seems like an easy cash in.
I think
like,
my...
your Forza.
I'm surprised they
Plus.
haven't-
Well, I was going to say, I just skinned my RX-7 in Forza
Oh my
to
God.
be the...
He spent like 2 hours reskinning a car in Forza to look like Han's car. Like immaculately placing the stickers.
The
on
decals
it.
and everything.
I am kind of surprised they haven't done any type of
Like
partnership.
DLC.
Yeah.
Or DLC,
Yeah.
or even a car line, like a Fast and Furious car line, where because people would buy these cars. Like,
Yeah,
you-
they even have
I
like
know,
that Hot Wheels game that you could easily just throw.
yeah,
a
and I know
DLC
there's
pack.
probably somebody listening that's like, "You idiot, these are real cars." But I mean, like stylized, like exactly like
Yes.
the
It's
movie,
Like the same paint job as...
paint
yeah.
job, or like the Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel,
Yeah. Well,
whatever,
the,
blah, blah,
whatever
blah,
car you bought, you could have gotten it like Iron Man kitted
Yeah,
out.
Oh.
the Hyundai Kona
Yes.
comes with an Iron Man version.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Okay, so I just looked up. I just typed in like Fast Furious DLC. So Rocket League, that game
Makes
has
perfect sense.
Oh,
a
okay.
Fast and Furious DLC, and it
There's
has.
probably a Fortnite.
I was going to say, is there
crossover
Fortnite?
too.
Yeah,
Like Dom comes.
I've never
to-
played Fortnite, but I would play Fortnite.
But,
too.
we tried.
yeah. Rocket League is all I'm seeing for like any kind of
Makes sense.
DLC pack. And also, this game's only $10 on Amazon now. So
So it's even cheaper. Kind of wind down a little bit. So you guys love these. What's your favorite movie? Who's your favorite character? Do you have a favorite scene? And what is your least favorite?
So my favorite movie is probably Fast Five. Favorite character is easily Han.
Aside from Han. Okay, we all know you guys love Han.
Ooh, aside from Han, I might have to think about that.
Okay, I'll go. So, I know I'm like a big Tokyo Drift stan. I think I've made it my personality, so it'll always be in the top. But I do think Fast Five is like the pinnacle of the series. It brings everything together, and some of that is from Tokyo Drift. So like,
What
Tokyo
is
Drift
it?
is part of the building block.
Same director.
It walked, so
Yes, exactly. It walked so Fast Five could run. I
did.
think I really like Letty. I think she's like an interesting female character for this kind of movie. Because I think most movies you would get a Mia who is there. She's like helps sometimes, but she's mostly on the sidelines worried.
Like the girlfriend. Like
Yeah,
the
it's like
typical
the girlfriend.
girlfriend.
But
Well,
Letty
she's
is like in the dirt every movie.
been a
And
badass from the beginning.
when we were watching F9, she's like really struggling with the domesticity of settling down, which is something that I think for these female characters in these action movies, that's kind of their like end point, is like what they want to move to.
Yeah.
And she just is so used to being in the action, and it's like part of what she is, that she like struggles to just be a wife and a mother. So I think that's like a really interesting thing. I think her and Dom are pretty hot together.
Yeah.
My favorite scene is from 7?
8.
Okay. They all 6, 7, and 8 all blur together. Yes, they have a honeymoon. They're just in Cuba. They're chilling.
That's a great opening.
Yes.
I love that opening.
It's like
of the
Dom
movie.
is coming back. He's got like coffee. He's got like a little rose, and I'm like, oh my god. He does get stopped by
And then
Charlize
bam,
Theron.
Charlize
Yes.
Theron, yeah.
She ruins everything. But that is like, I could watch them just hang out forever.
Rishabh, have you
No.
no character
Fast
least
Five.
favorite movie?
Least favorite movie is probably Fast 4. Or
Yeah, I'll say mine is also
Fast
four.
and Furious.
Fast and
I
Furious.
said they both agreed 4 was the worst
Yeah.
one.
Okay. How about you?
I may have seen
Based
the
on
first
the 1.5
one.
movies you've seen.
I may have seen the first one like when it came out on VHS. Like that's how far back I go. I honestly don't remember it. So that's it. But all these clips I'm watching.
Are you
we're,
interested?
We're literally recording and it's on mute and I'm watching it and like they're at a funeral and there's a car race.
It's Dom versus Jason Statham.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm into it.
And
Again,
Russell's about to
there
show
is
up.
no reason I haven't watched these movies.
Yeah, I think you and your wife would love them.
Yeah, I would love these movies. Like, absolutely. I just don't know. It hasn't, like, been... I haven't, like, sat down and be like, I'm really in the mood for, like...
Also, I feel like these you don't
race.
have cables. You just do a lot of streaming.
Yeah.
And these movies, like, are not on streaming.
They're, like, weirdly, HBO Max has,
or
like...
Peacock.
It has Tokyo Drift, and it has...
It has 1. It has 3.
1, 3, and 9, I think.
Yeah, it's
And,
like I don't know what's
they have
going on
9,
with the
which is
rights.
weird, but they are always on cable, and that's usually where I watch. I remember the one time I went to a party and Fast 5 was on, and that's what I did the entire day.
Oh, we just went red light.
Yeah, they have no
Oh, he
regard
stopped,
for,
though.
traffic laws. My favorite's Fast 5 as well. Favorite characters, probably it's Brian, but since he's dead, and we're not doing Han.
I like how we have to keep Han out.
I actually really love Mia. Like, I always have. She's cool. She, like you said, she kind of is that sit to the sidelines. And I do love Letty, too.
You need someone like that, and I think she's a good character for it.
Yeah. You know what? I do love her, but probably Roman. I quote Roman all the time. Like, the second movie, I quote all the time. Like, we hungry, fool.
Yes.
We hungry. And everything. And then favorite scene, probably... I do love the ridiculousness of 5, where we talked earlier, where like they take out like an entire building, but then a tree stops the vault. I do love that because it's so dumb. But maybe in 7 when they drop from the helicopter or the airplane.
Oh, yeah.
And they parachute, and then like that whole scene, like Brian like jumps and grabs the back of the car as it's like.
Oh yeah, that one is really good.
Really good.
Spoilers.
Yeah, no, he's blown away by this head-to-head collision.
I know it's going to happen though because he's not driving a black Charger.
I can't. It's hard to though pinpoint.
There's also just
scene.
like a lot of good like one-liners. In
There
these
are.
movies.
It's like same, and then the originals, like because me and my brother-in-law always go, the Buster kept me out of handcuffs, and so I just love that. But yeah, a genuine fan of this. I'm excited. My excitement for the franchise has 100% died. Not like it's not dead, but it's.
Yeah.
Way
I think
down.
it's natural. It's just been so long in the tooth at this point.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep it up.
And it's not like I don't know. I kind of always reference the MCU. It's not like where you're getting new characters, like different movies. It's all kind of one narrative, one perspective, one same character surviving. And then I thought it was funny, but I didn't like how they were so on the nose in 9 about them being essentially bulletproof. Like
the lamp shading of that What
I
love about these movies is that they're over the top, but they're like really earnest about it.
Yeah.
And 9 felt like they were starting to do that, like Dwayne Johnson, like winking at the camera, where they're like, "Can you believe how crazy this is?"
Yeah.
And like, I'm
But you know
not
what?
interested.
So at first I was like, this is kind of cheesy. But then at the end, they give like this heartwarming speech where he's like, you know what? We beat the odds, but if this is it, we might as well go out on top of the world.
It's true. And they go to space.
And then they all lived.
And they did. Yes, they all did live. Anything else to add? Anything that we might have missed? Talking kind of as concisely as we could about it. An essentially 10-film franchise. Anything you guys want to add? Anything you want to highlight? Call out? Anything that you want or listeners to know about the Fast family?
Well, I was gonna say my own plug. If you like the melodrama, the camp, the insane action of these movies, check out Bollywood and Tollywood movies. Because that is what they all are. It's a lot of movies where they take themselves very seriously. The action is over-the-top ridiculous. Like, especially in the later Fast movies where, people just catch cars.
Drive on submarines, fly through the air.
Yeah, The Rock catches a car, right?
Yeah, at some
Or
point
he picks a car up. Yeah.
Right.
What?
Oh yeah. The Rock is
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson is Superman in these movies.
Holy cow!
Yeah, so if you like that kind
have
of thing,
I never watched these movies?
Yeah, as being a big
Dwayne
fan,
DJ, my boy DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like these movies and you're not afraid of the 1-inch barrier of subtitles, check out some Bollywood, Tollywood movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, start with RRR.
RRR, baby.
RRR on Netflix.
On Netflix. Brian won't stop talking about it.
One of the most fun I've ever had watching a movie.
I've been with him for 2 days. It's all he's talking about. And
I
I'm just trying to talk about family, and he's just wants to talk about
like my mom and dad-in-law, whatever they're called. What is it? In-laws.
Your family.
Yeah, my family. Yeah. I was like, I know I gave a lot of movie recommendations. I was like, there's a movie called RRR. It's 3 hours. I was like, it's a musical, bromance, romance. I was like, check it out. And we have a camera for like the cat, and my wife turned on. She's like, they're watching RRR, and I was like, yeah. So we came home and they loved it.
Yeah, they did.
It's for everyone.
It is. I will have to check it out. I guess the only thing I would say is if you haven't seen them, watch them all. They're fun, man. Life is too serious. Mm-hmm. Embrace the ridiculousness. Everybody else says this is $1 billion franchise. You might as well just give them your money, or at this point,
yeah. Who else?
Why not?
There's like there's 3 places you can put your money now when you watch a movie.
Exactly.
It might as well be this one.
It might as well be here.
Open your heart.
Exactly. For people who complain about CGI and like the MCU, there's like fine CGI in these movies. You got Helen Mirren freaking killing it.
We didn't even talk about.
We didn't even talk about Cardi B.
Queenie.
Yeah, like there's so many like weird cameos in these movies that just works, and Helen Mirren absolutely works.
Oh wait, I have one question.
Yeah.
So if you could add anyone,
yeah,
in who would it be? Because now thinking of Helen Mirren, I would love to see Julie Andrews in these movies.
That would be incredible.
Just absolutely ripping in a car.
What the hell would she do? Just be racing?
Yeah, she's just racing.
Here's the thing, spinoff.
She's part of MI6.
Helen Mirren and Julie Andrews.
Just continue like the Red franchise and just like make the Red franchise crossover. You got Helen Mirren in that. Who would I want to add? That's a great question.
I want the 2 guys from RRR to be the villains.
Oh my god.
That would actually that would work.
That would be incredible.
They have the mustaches for it.
And him to direct the movie. The director, what's his name?
Roger Moody.
Yeah, I want him to direct.
Who's directing 10 that Justin Lin left?
I don't actually know.
It's it's Louis Leterrier who did The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
The Edward Norton one.
Yeah.
That's right, because I guess he's had a good relationship with Universal. It's such a weird pick, but I think they were just at this point, hey, we didn't need somebody. We're losing like $10 million a day. Yeah. If I could add someone, though, that's a freaking great question.
Chris Pratt, who would you? It's going to be a Marvel character.
It is 100% going to be a Marvel character.
Cumberbatch.
Probably Cumberbatch. I do love him in like everything. Michelle Yeoh. Screw it.
Oh my god.
No. The guy short round. I forget his name. Actor played short round. Absolutely amazing in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
But if you put both of them in, Michelle Yeoh, Helen Mirren, Julie Andrews, like old lady squad, just like absolutely.
That just sounds like a old lady,
the London,
like
a
Golden
London
Girls.
crew.
Yes, it's like old ladies, Charlie's Angels at that point.
Yeah, that's their like
that would
London
work.
contacts.
Why
that would
not?
Be great.
People would buy it. People would love it.
Yeah.
People would go bananas.
Yeah, I would love to see the 2 of them in more stuff though, because action, everything, they were great.
They are, yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that does it for us here. Before you go, plug your Super Yaki.
So I work with a company called Super Yaki. I don't have anything with them right now, but you should just check them out anyway.
Is your Fast and Furious line still available or no?
I think it might have sold out.
Whoa! I forgot to tell everybody. We're here.
Sold out like within an hour.
So I was lucky enough. My wife has the same shirt that Rishabh's wearing, the Toretto's Market and Cafe from the original film. Bailey is wearing her Live Your Life at a Quarter Mile at a Time, which is one of my favorite quotes from the film. I have the pin of Han's little bag of chips. And there's so much cool stuff out there. You did the design with all the faces. So
yeah. But if you love movies, you should just check them out. Super
they have a lot of cool stuff. But we are with a celebrity. Her name was mentioned on Jimmy Fallon with Michael Shannon. It's cool stuff. She's super talented. Check out your Instagram too. What's
B.
it?
Watro.
B. Watro. Follow her. She's got a lot of great art. And Rishabh, do you have anything to plug?
No, I'm not.
Rishabh is chronically offline.
Yeah, he is. But he is also a very talented artist as well. You have a Redbubble store, right?
I don't think I do anymore, actually. Okay. But, I mean, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, just DM her for collaborations.
Yeah.
Check it out. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I know Brian was super excited to talk Fast and Furious with you guys.
I need a backup.
And I am too, and I'm glad you made your podcast debut. You guys were fantastic. You're amazing, super informative, and welcome to the family. And we have gifts for you guys, too, as well. For being on the podcast. All right, well, we just really enjoyed and appreciate you coming on. So you guys will get 2 Gateway Gamer stickers to put wherever you want.
Thank you.
Just not in the trash can. But I think that does it for us today. As we have one more film to get through for our Blockbuster Summer, and then it's over.
Yeah, then we can move on to
life.
Regular shenanigans.
Yeah, regular stuff. Remember to be kind, subscribe, and visit our TeePublic store in the show notes and leave us a rating.
That's right.
All right, and check us out on the socials at Gateway Gamers Pod, and follow us on Instagram.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
So everybody say bye.
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 喧騒まみれこの街の演奏玉たまま一度ついておいで世界中魅了するほどに豪華なジャパン一番ジャンプランさうちらの出番テリヤキボーイズ in the place to be 見せてやろうオリジナル VIP
Many diamonds dangling Bag full of money we strangling Hate me, fry me, bake me, try me All the above cause you can't get in I don't want no problem Because me professional Make you shake your cats Thank you Haters take it personal
Like a Canada tight heads out now talk oh let's go not match my money let's oh such kitchen over let's go